Van Damme, he's got a brother. You see that movie Double Impact?
In your black silk underwear.
Yeah,
Go back to
right.
Disneyland.
Go back to Disneyland.
Oh, yeah. Big surprise. Huge surprise.
Let's talk a little bit about Double Impact because we didn't really, I guess, hit that one too much. Was that your biggest budget to date? Double Impact that you got to work on, or
I
no?
believe so. As far as directing, I think that's probably my the biggest budget that I worked with, and
Because that was
certainly
an
the
epic action, yeah.
most number of days.
How many days did it take to shoot that movie?
I believe it's 63 was the number,
Damn,
and we
okay.
shot in Hong Kong and Los Angeles. Now, watching the movie, you wouldn't think that we shot half the movie in Los Angeles, but we did because we ran into some production problems in Hong Kong. Basically, the producers were not getting along with one another. The American producers were not getting along with, and we had Charlie Wang again. Charlie was our production services guy in Hong Kong, and they were not getting along. And the decision was made, let's just take this movie back to LA and we'll just build sets in LA, which we did. So we shot, obviously a lot of the stuff, there's a lot of stuff on the streets of Hong Kong. You can see it's Hong Kong, out on the water with the boats, all that stuff. That's all Hong Kong. Now, the interior of the hotel where the two brothers have a fight, that's a set that we built in LA, in Santa Clarita. And also the Mahjong parlor. That seems very authentic. You know, when they walk in the Mahjong parlor, the exterior is in Hong Kong.
Where they got the
Interior, we
bombs,
built.
where they got the bombs on their shoulder.
Yeah, the one.
The bombs, the boxes with the bombs on the shoulder.
With the what on his shoulder?
When he walks in with the case and he's like, "Yeah, what's up? I'm here," and he's got the bomb in there.
Oh, he's got the. That's right. He's got the cognac.
Yeah, the cognac. That's what it is. But it's a bomb. So that place.
You know what?
Was that the place you're talking about, or no?
I think we did that. I think we did that in Hong Kong. We did that interior in Hong Kong, but it's the Mahjong parlor where he walks in and he first meets Danielle, goes in the back room, like, oh, silk underwear. And, you know, that we shot in L.A. That was the set.
Yeah. Take your fancy clothes and your black silk underwear.
Right. Go back to Disneyland.
You, of all people, should know I would never in my life wear black silk underwear.
Okay. We shot that in L.A. and also the fight between the two brothers, which is a real highlight. We shot the interior. That was in L.A. The exterior was in Hong Kong. The exterior of that hotel was in Hong Kong. Interior was in L.A. We built a set.
Gotcha. How was that to shoot? Because, I mean, if you're working with, because you had stunt double, right, for Jean-Claude.
Yes.
Of course.
There are two stunt doubles.
Two?
Two, because one was the Alex stunt double, and the other one was the Chad stunt double. The Chad stunt double was a French guy, blanking on his name right now, but he could do all the martial arts. He could do the kicks. And the other guy, the one who doubled Alex, was a former Navy SEAL, and he couldn't do the martial arts stuff, which Alex, you know, we basically set it up so that Alex is a guy who grew up on the streets and he doesn't know martial arts. He's just a bruiser. He's just a brawler. And Chad is the one who knows the martial arts and can do the kicks. So we had these two separate stunt doubles, and that's who's doing most of the fighting. Although on the reverse shots, we've got Jean-Claude. If it's Chad fighting Alex, Alex is a stunt double, and Chad is actually Jean-Claude. And then when you reverse the shots, then Chad is the stunt double, and Alex is the real Jean-Claude. So it was complicated.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
It was complicated, but we managed to do it, and we really pulled off the illusion because I've run into people who've actually said, "Hey, you know, Van Damme, he's got a brother. You sure about that?" Oh, yeah. I read an article, and yeah, you see that movie Double Impact? you can't tell me that that's the same guy playing both roles. I'm like, well, okay, maybe you know more about it than I do. So, but obviously it worked. We really pulled it off.
Movie magic, man. I love
Movie
it.
magic, absolutely.
Yeah, that's definitely. I mean, it even holds up today. You're watching it and you see those the way it kind of put together.
And that was in the pre-CGI era, so we couldn't do. So we didn't use any CGI to do those twinning effects. We used the really old techniques. They're the same techniques that they used like there was a Disney movie called The Parent Trap, where Haley Mills plays like two cousins that look alike. And there was a TV show, The Patty Duke Show, where she plays two cousins that look alike. And this goes all the way back to the Corsican Brothers, which is what we based Double Impact upon, was this 1940s era movie called The Corsican Brothers with Douglas Fairbanks Jr. It's pretty much the same story. If you see The Corsican Brothers, you'll recognize, you basically say, well, shit, this is Double Impact. And yeah, it is. We based it on this Corsican Brothers movie. And they did the exact same special effects that we did in Double Impact. We're talking about 1942, and they did split screen.
Yeah.
So the few shots where you see both twins in the same shot, that was split screen. We shot it twice, and then they put the film together using an optical printer. So it's a very basic technique, but it works. It worked really well. Nowadays, we would do all of this with CGI. But didn't have it back then, so we made do.
Because what is that when they would put the tennis ball? So you'd have somebody here, you'd have like Jean-Claude on this side in the Alex character acting off of whether it's a tennis ball or another actor.
No, we didn't have tennis balls. What we did was tennis balls is generally you've got like a monster or a dinosaur or something. Okay,
gotcha.
But what we had was we had some stand-ins for Jean-Claude. There were these twin brothers, Jeff and Jerry. I'm forgetting what their last name was now. But they were actual twins, and they were actors. And so one of them was the Chad stand-in, and the other one was the Alex stand-in. And basically, we would just do over-the-shoulder shots. So if we're over the shoulder on Chad, then we got the real Jean-Claude there, and Alex is being played by this. Rector was the last name. Jeff and Jerry Rector, and they would be. These guys were actors, so they could deliver the lines. So Jean-Claude was actually delivering lines, and then we would switch everything up in the editing room, and also with ADR, voice replacement, and we made it work pretty well. The illusion really works.
And then what were the fights like, man? Because if you had 60-something days, how much of that were actually putting the fights together, and what was that process for you? Were you picking out a lot of times when you're doing these fights? Do you pick out the angles, or do you let the stunt coordinator help kind of dictate that a little bit?
Well, it's a combination of both. And actually, on Double Impact, Jean-Claude was doing a lot of the choreography himself with some Chinese guys. And we had the one famous fight with Jean-Claude versus Bolo Yung.
Yeah.
And Bolo had a few ideas for that one too, but it was mostly Jean-Claude. Jean-Claude came up with a lot of those ideas. And generally I would choose the angles, but then he would have some say-so also, and he'd have suggestions. Why don't we use this? And generally Jean-Claude would want to shoot too much slow-mo, okay? Because with slow-mo, you can see it's really Jean-Claude. It's really Bolo. He's really doing this stuff. It's not being faked. But for the fight with Bolo, we cut it together. And I told Jean-Claude, I think we're doing too much slow-mo. No, we got to have slow-mo so you can see the real kick. Okay, fine. We shot it all. And it looked like they were fighting underwater because they were moving really slow. Gotcha. It's like something out of Aquaman. Okay? Yeah. Okay. So what I did there was I sped up many of the shots. In fact, most of the shots we actually Again, I had to use an optical printer. This was
Mm-hmm.
back in the pre-CGI days. It wasn't easy to change this stuff, but we would take out every other frame, or every other frame, or every second frame, and that would speed the shots up. So we shot at 64 frames per second. Take out every other frame, and now you get it back down to 24 frames per second if you needed that. So so that was the choice that Jean-Claude made. He loved slow mode. In fact, in the Quest, me and a lot of other people have said there's way too much slow mo in the Quest. Okay, but that's the way he wanted it, and you put it all together, and it's like something out of Aquaman. Everybody's moving really slow, like they're underwater. So
the Quest, I love the Quest, but it reminds me of like